situation the entire time, somewhere totally different, that they drove, picked up, turned around, and drove away. So we were being watched, like, from everywhere by those guys. Around the time they rolled up, about maybe 30 seconds later, the Lucian and Ilya and Grady, they all rolled up after I'd radioed them. I didn't know. When I radioed them, the convoy hadn't been there. The traders hadn't showed up. So they roll up on the traders. The traders are talking to the people of the quarry and doing a trade deal for, I think, a box for grenades. And I kind of just, like, watch it go down. Lucian is fucking off, hiding behind a concrete wall. I mean, not more than 50 meters away from the entire altercate, like, the entire thing going on. So he looks suspicious as fuck, getting up there without anybody telling to do so. And then we have, eventually Ilya goes and comments on the lead guy's masks, calls him like clown face or something, and I could feel the tensions rising there, but he talked his way out of it, as he says, charisma. And I guess, you know, it worked out in the end, but I'd really prefer if we didn't do that, because that can get everyone killed. And I'm not going to just sit there and let them do some shit to you because of what you said and not fight for you, but, you know, it could full well get me killed. Like, I'm not just going to sit there and go, okay, well, he made this mistake. He's in it, you know, that's on him. No, like, I would most likely be grabbing my gun, even being surrounded, you know. I just don't want that, though. I don't want anyone to, I want us to all have fair chances and shots when it comes to getting into altercations. So I'd much prefer us not to do that, or if you do it, just try to really, really, really control yourself on how much you let slip out and not get us into a fucked up situation. Overall, it works out. We talk to the traders leave, we talk to the quarry people, and then we leave the quarry and we head, I mean, like, maybe 100 meters into the woods a little bit, heading up towards Nadbor. I stop, talk to them about the people that are walking with the infected, in which I'm going to give you all the information I can after we talk about this. But we then walk further up, and get into Nadbor, and just after talking about the fucking everything they did, there was green smoke inside of the city at that time. So we walk the edge of the road, and we're looking into the smoke, and me and Ilya are both like, yeah, we're not fucking going in that shit. I had heard from Daniel that the smoke on the airfield that looks exactly the same is highly toxic and dangerous. Could be a form of mustard gas is what he was saying. I don't know. All we know is that I want to test that area as well. But all I know is I didn't want to go in that shit. Well, on top of the fucking roof, there's a man looking down at us with some sort of object in his hand. It could have been binoculars, could have been a gun. Who knows? I don't know. But he looked down at us. Ilya is saying to fucking shoot him, because this is the same guy that had killed 2 people before. For all those that went up to fucking, I think it was what's right above us, Tarnow. Right above us in Tarnow, there was an altercation with the people who walk with the fucking infected, where 2 people were killed, and it was like a group of 5. So 2 people in Tarnow died to these people, to what we thought was one person, or what I thought was one person. They died, 2 of them, and it was like fucking a decent amount of people in a group. So I had heard about that and just told them about that, and then we see this guy on the roof. So Ilya, I mean, I understand where he's coming from, wanted to shoot the guy. If it was one guy, then that's the fucking guy. We want him dead. That boom, problem solved. I make the call to take the shot, but the whole time I'm just wanting to speak to him. I want to speak. Right? It was a bad call to tell Lucian to make the shot, and I'm glad Lucian ended up not taking that shot. But that was, I wanted to speak. All right, he was waving, pointing a gun, looking at us with binoculars, whatever the fuck he was doing. I wanted to speak to him before shooting first, because we're not going to really figure out much if we just shoot him. So I make the terrible, 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 terrible decision just to run in. Not saying much. I didn't clarify anything. I wasn't organized about it. I fucking ran in. I made that was the very first ever terrible, or not very first ever, but very first in this entire situation, very first terrible decision I made was running in to the fucking smoke. So I ran in. To this day, I'm feeling fine. Ilya, how are you feeling after breathing that shit in? Any issues?
Yet. I mean, I took a bunch of drugs afterwards, but after.
Okay. So I'm feeling fine currently. So whatever it is, it's probably different than what's on the airfield, or maybe just less. If it's coming from what we know, it's coming from the smoke grenades that they throw. They throw red smoke grenades and it disperses into the area. So maybe it's just a way lower amount than what's at the uh, airfield. And if that's the case, then we could have issues further on, way on in the future, if it was just a low, 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 small amount that we were breathing in. I don't know if that's how that's working. I want to test the airfield and test the air there and figure out what the fuck that is. And I want to know if we can go in there and figure out where that it came from, what caused it, and why it's so dense. Anyway, we run in. Very quickly, Ilya gets surrounded by infected, and we get split up. I then run around for a bit, and I run into two people walking like the infected in the smoke, walking right next to the infected. Over and over and over again, I had infected coming towards me while they're just walking freely. The only way I can explain it is they're walking like they are one of them. That's how they walk. They walk inside of it. It was a man in a hat and had I think it was this AK on my hip, and a fucking full black almost, just really rugged looking clothing, and then another one with really rugged looking clothing with like a green vest with blood all over it and a yellow helmet. I try hard just speak to them over and over and over again. They go on about, one of them speaks, and all of he says is stuff about faith. They're doing it for their faith and because they have faith and all of this shit. And then but nothing valuable. Then I run over to the other guy. I get kind of fucking pushed into a house by some infected. And then I run back because I lost him, and so I run back to the yellow helmet guy, where he kneels on the ground and lights off another smoke grenade. I finally see Ilya again, and at that time, the rest of the people from the quarry had ran up, and they were in the area as well. So we all run back down away from the smoke because more and more and more infected are pouring into the area, all surrounding the area. Whatever that shit is, it brings them all together, is what it looks like. So we all get away for a second, take a breather, and then Ilya and I think I was very... I had terrible decision-making skills in this event. I didn't know what the fuck to do. Ilya said, let's run up. So we run back up into the smoke, and we find them, and we just try to question them more as a group. He finds another one behind the building. We walk him towards the other one that's still kneeled down in the smoke, and we try to speak with them. Nothing. They're not saying anything. They don't say anything at all. We talk over and over and over again to them. They don't say anything. So I get frustrated, and I shoot one of them in the fucking head. Dead, just on the ground. And Ilya tries to talk to the other one, doesn't say anything. He shoots him too. I just don't think we should have done it.